Welcome back to Show Me What I've Been Missing, your pop culture podcast that says, hey, look at that thing. I'm one of your hosts, Elizabeth Stanton, and with me is my other host.
Chris back. What's up, guys? Shake your shoulders.
Get loose.
Get loose.
Monday, you'll be seeing, hearing this.
Yes.
Yes, we are working our way through all of Sex and the City. I've seen it a bajillion times. Chris has not really ever seen it. And we're just about in the middle of season 5. Season 5, episode 4, Cover Girl.
Yeah. Good episode. This
Good
was
episode.
a fun episode. Yeah, this was fun. Yeah. It's so weird that because it kind of makes sense though, because we've always talked about like Carrie being kind of conservative for a sex columnist, but it kind of makes sense why she's so conservative, because she doesn't really actually write about sex. She more writes about relationships. So it's more like romance than sex, which is weird because then.
But the column's called like Sex in the City or Sex in the City, and same with the book that is not being published.
Right.
But as the publishers do say, like, haha, sex does sell, which is true. I mean, what are you gonna call it? Like romance in the city, relationships in the city?
No,
not snappy.
You can call it romance in the city. You call it romance in the city.
Yeah, it's not snappy. Doesn't grab as much attention. You need the headlines. It's all about the SEO, man.
Yeah,
search engine optimization and whatnot. This is
but because sex would, I mean, also too, like the word sex would probably get more of a wider audience. It wouldn't just be women reading it. It would probably be men at least checking it out, maybe one.
Yeah, but whoa, there's a column about sex,
bro,
super cool
in the newspaper, bro.
They just print that stuff? Oh, this is about chicks, man. I don't want to
read it. It's about chicks, man. I don't read it.
Prove me wrong that hasn't happened like 800 times.
I mean, listen, it's probably being a dude out there who was probably told by their girlfriend to watch the show, and he was like, "Oh, this is just about chicks, dude.
About chicks, man."
It's about chicks, dude. Oh man, good stuff. I love it.
So, whom do you want to start with? Maybe Charlotte. She has such a nothing plot line.
Yeah.
But there's like one interesting element to it. Okay, so Carrie's getting her book published, and they go to the bookstore kind of for inspiration for her book cover, and we'll get to all that.
Yes.
But while they're there, Charlotte is looking for a self-help book that she read about, but is like reluctant to kind of admit it and doesn't want to. Which is so funny because now everyone's like, I am all about the self-help, self-care, better personality building, which is good. Like, it's good to not poo-poo that as much as like this era was very like, you need to like consider your feelings and think about yourself. Oh my god, lame. Stupid. Or it's like sad and pathetic somehow, because they show like a woman crying in the self-help section while she's reading a book, and then the book Charlotte's about to pick up, she's like, that one really helped me, and Charlotte pretends like she's not gonna go buy that book.
Well, because this whole scene was set up. It was like a horror film. It was women crying.
The music cues were like scary.
I was like, is she either in the haunted house or the self-help section? What's going on? Why is it so dramatic?
Which is just so I don't know, like I guess this is still just very much of the time of like therapy is for like weaker people.
Oh right.
Self-examination is neurotic and pointless, and you're silly if you need to like talk to somebody about your problems. Like, what the fuck? That's so bad. I literally have therapy later today, and I'm like, oh hell yeah.
I
talk some shit out.
Yeah, no, I guess because because I was so young that I didn't know that was a thing, but it does seem so weird now because like you said, but now the the talk of social. It's like, yes, anything you can do to better yourself. It's like now if you go to somebody's house, if you don't have a self-help book, people are like, what's wrong with you? Like you're so put together.
I do think in some ways the pendulum has swung a little too far the other direction, because now everybody is like self-diagnosing everything. And literally every TikTok is so bad because everything they're like, it's a trauma response. They're like, do you like to eat popcorn? I was like, yeah, I do. They're like, it's a real trauma response. I'm like, to what?
You're probably ignored in a dark place as a kid, so now you go to eat popcorn because the dark places and popcorn are correlated. Yeah.
Oh my God, breakthrough. Fuck. I do love eating popcorn in the movies. Oh no. Chris, no.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like, oh, you probably enjoy popcorn because you're probably locked in a closet when you were a kid. And you like dark places, then that's like the only snack that your mom probably gave you. It was like,
right. So like, do you blink sometimes? They're like, they're like, it's a real trauma response. Yeah. I saw a funny one. People have joked it's true that it's like either everything you do is like a trauma response, you have ADHD, or you're gay, and or queer. Yeah, I should broaden it and say queer to be more fair. But so one of those videos started playing on my page, but then it cut to someone with like a bunch of columns with like tally marks in it, and they were like, all right, and it just marked whatever the thing was. They're like, right now, queer's in the running, but trauma was pretty high up there for a while because self-examination is good, but also maybe touching base with some professionals is a good idea too.
Well, also too, Beck, you can't, like, that's another thing, and I agree with you that it is a little bit too much of overcorrection, because it's like, now I think sometimes too there are some people out there who read self-help books or try to self-diagnose, and it's like, you can't be everything. You can't have like you can't have it all. There's some people who try to have it all, like, oh, I have this because of past trauma. I have like several things, like I touch my ear, I only touch my left ear when like shit like that. It's like, you can't have everything. Like everything's not a trauma response. Maybe you're just fucking human. Maybe you just have maybe you have allergies. That's why you like scratch your ear from time to time. Like maybe it's just that. Like chill. Not everything is a trauma response. Because if that's the case, then like the whole world is traumatized.
And it's not to discount people's actual traumas or anything like that, but like
not at all. And
also the other problem with all that self-diagnosis is people use it to be as an excuse to be shitty. They go, oh well, you can't be mad I did this, it's a trauma response because I had trauma, and so that's why I had to like punch you in the chest. And you're like, what?
I talk shit about you behind your back because it's a trauma response.
Or
maybe you're just an asshole. How about that?
Or you happen to have eaten popcorn in front of me and I slapped the bowl out of your hand. That's a trauma response because I was traumatized by popcorn, and so anything I do is excused by it being a trauma thing, when in actuality you do have to take responsibility for how you handle your own trauma or diagnoses. So they are not an excuse to behave badly. They are simply a bit of an explanation about why you might do that, but it is on you to manage your reaction or interaction with whatever a trigger could be.
Like, I had this conversation. I like posted a reel or whatever. It was about some guy who was like pooping in front of this guy's store, and like every time the manager would roll up, he would like throw the poop at his car. And so I posted like just a reel about it, and there was somebody who commented. There was like, you should have more respect for people who have mental illness. It's like, okay, yes, he might have a mental illness, but that doesn't mean that he should be throwing shit.
That doesn't give him the right to throw shit.
Like that's at the end of the day, that's still like, to try to classify it, that's still assault. You know what I mean? Like, that person shouldn't be on the streets. He should be locked up in a facility somewhere getting treatment, not throwing shit at the store owner or like pooping in front of the guy's store every day.
Like I definitely have empathy. Obviously, mentally ill, that's bad. You're right. He should be being treated and taken care of, but that doesn't allow him to then, like you said, assault somebody, throw shit at them. Like that's you can't just be like, oh well, I had to let that guy stab me because he's mentally ill. No, that's bad. That's not good.
That's another thing. That's the conversation is like that people think because we have delve into like so much more about mental health and start to become more understanding of it. But just because we are becoming more understanding of it doesn't mean the world owes you understanding. You know what I mean? Like if I sell drugs, fuck my environment. Like, yeah, I maybe grew up in like a shitty neighborhood and where violence is like that, but like that's not the way the cops are gonna see it. The cops see it as you sold drugs, you go through jail. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because we still have choice. You know, in that matter, you know, other than like people who literally like hear voices, maybe, you know what I'm saying? But like, even still, if they like kill somebody, you know what I mean? We can't be like, hey, well, it's the voices. Don't worry about it. They're chill. Don't even, it's a trauma response to the voices.
Who would have thought this like really brief plot line would generate so much conversation? But it did, but it's true.
No, because it's just like to me, it's just like wow that was like, you know, it's like oh shit, she's in the self-help aisle. She's a crazy cat lady. Like she's
for sure. And so then Charlotte instead goes home and commits perhaps a bigger crime and uses Amazon to order the book. Now, admittedly, it looks like they were in a Barnes and Noble, which is also a large chain. It's not like they were saving an independent bookstore by shopping there.
This is before Amazon was.
But this is before Amazon was Amazon, and it's so crazy.
Yeah, started from books. It was just books.
Just books, and this has got to be probably one of the earliest like mentions of it in pop culture.
Media. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
If not the first. I have not researched that because I didn't have time. Excuse me, I have not researched it to confirm that, but it's definitely like, if not the first, then one of the first mentions of it. But then Charlotte also hilariously gets probably the first targeted ad ever shown on TV. Because she gets a follow-up email after she ordered the book and she's been reading it or whatever, and it said, based on your recent searches, we think you'd like these books. And it's more self-help stuff that makes her feel bad, so she ends up chucking the self-help book out the window where a random woman who is considering a divorce finds it and takes it as a sign.
I mean, to be fair, it kind of is a sign.
It is. If a book comes flying out the window.
Like how, like if you're like that, because like a divorce and stuff like that is a big decision, right? Obviously. And the book is about starting over your life after a divorce. So if you're contemplating whether or not you should get divorced and all of a sudden a random book about that falls into your lap, literally, that's a fucking sign. Like, there's no way that, like, because this even maybe now not so much because fucking listening to our cell phones and targeted ads and shit like that. But like at this time, there was nothing like that unless you clicked on it.
So that's just funny that like this is clearly all played for a joke. No one's thinking that deep about it, but in like 20 years on, it's like, no, that was like the first targeted ad like ever shown on TV.
That's wild.
Which is so funny. But that's all Charlotte really does.
And that was before, because like you didn't even see, you didn't even see targeted ads like that on Facebook or anything like that too, right? Like that was.
Oh well, no, the Facebook. I think is in 2002. Facebook didn't start till like 2003. I was in my freshman year of college, and then it was only you had to have a .edu college email address.
Right, that was wild. Yeah, it was only for college kids.
I think I've brought this up before, but maybe not.
Do you think it should have stayed that way, by the way? Facebook should have stayed only for college kids?
I think it should have stayed for the youths.
I think so too. Because
totally now it's out of control and so bad. But I will say, it's a little classist to say that, I won't lie, because the thing I was going to bring up is someone was trying, my neighbor's wife said something about like, oh, somebody's trying to put together a 5-year reunion from high school, but they were only doing it over Facebook. And now she didn't go to college and he didn't either because he was in the military and stuff. So they didn't have they didn't have the .edu email address to be on Facebook. So it was excluding kind of a big chunk of my high school, because not everybody from my high school went to traditional college or college in general. Like I said, some people did military service, trade school, all sorts of things. It didn't, it doesn't matter. But it is a little funky if you think about it, that they're basically only inviting the people who went to like good schools, It's a little interesting.
But because it did start out that way, but then it did develop, like develop into like someone. If somebody did have a Facebook, they could invite you on.
Right. Then you could invite, but at that point, it wasn't quite like that yet. The invites weren't.
Oh no, not at this point. No.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't even around in this point of the show that we're talking about. So that's insane.
But yeah, I saw people say it, and I think it's true. It's almost like when you're done with college, you should have like not been on Facebook anymore.
Right. That's kind of
some ways
the reason why I think that it should have stayed for college, because then like once you get out of college, you probably wouldn't even be using it anymore, other than like maybe stay in contact with other people from like your alma mater or something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
But even then, I think I talked to how many people from my college? Not many.
It doesn't sound like you talked to any of them.
It's more than I was. It was more than I was about to say. I think, sort of. But it's certainly not a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's one is that I talk to consistently, and that's because we were in the same sketch group out here in LA. I talked to him on the reg, but otherwise,
that's funny.
Yeah, so that's all Charlotte's deal is. She discovers the wonders of Amazon, and now we get instantaneous shipping.
Meta thought. Do you think that Amazon paid the right?
Probably.
You know what I mean? To get that in there, because like I can't think of any other instance of Amazon being mentioned in a TV show at that time. And it might be it probably was some after that, but like I don't remember hearing anything about
Usually that kind of thing is paid for. And it was definitely, obviously Amazon has expanded into like a literal global thing. I think, when it started though, it's kind of one of those things that feels like it would start in a big city. Like I know it's like Seattle based or whatever, but you know what I mean? Like the concept of using it is a big thing in New York, and people are like, oh my God, you can get books you can't get, from here or there. And it becomes like a cool, like, did you hear about this thing on the internet thing? So it's like zeitgeisty. They're getting buzz sort of around as like this new upstart thing. And if they have the money, which I think they may have at that point, I don't know the full arc of the business, obviously, but they probably could have paid a little something to be mentioned potentially, but it's hard to tell. That's
probably a lot of money too, because this is one of the biggest shows on HBO. You know what I mean? This was like Sunday night programming.
Krispy Kreme gets mentioned a bunch in this episode.
Well, too. Krispy Kreme had money. Like, they could definitely
and they've been mentioned before. Yeah. But I can't guarantee it though, because there's been other things like they made a big deal out of. And I still we were 5 seasons, and I feel like we still haven't come across the episode where they get these fucking cupcakes from this Magnolia bakery that was put on the map because of the show. And again, I'll be goddamned if I can tell you where they are. Maybe it's still coming. But I can't remember them even coming up. And I'm, obviously we take notes during the show and everything. Yeah. But yeah, Magnolia Cupcakes in New York became a humongous thing because they were mentioned on the show. I don't know that they paid for that though.
Right.
But but on the flip side, like several seasons ago, Samantha brought up Krispy Kreme donuts on a date she was on.
Yeah.
And that felt more like product-y placement. It's hard to tell because like they don't make fun of Amazon exactly. They just make fun of the email saying like, here's other recommended books. So that's not really like a dig at Amazon per se. No. It's just what they do. Yeah. And then the same thing with the Krispy Kremes, which we'll get to in a second.
Well, here's the way that I don't know if
they bought this association.
yeah, it's kind of nasty, yo.
So maybe let's just get into that.
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit like
a little gross.
Hey, yo.
So
then again, it's Sex in the City, so maybe they just like, hey.
Maybe they were like, yeah.
Like, all right, we'll mention you, but you ain't gonna like
it. Yeah, but you're not gonna so while at the bookstore, Miranda is looking at diet books because she's so hideously overweight with the baby weight. Oh man, oh my God, so
I mean, if ridiculous. okay, here's the thing though. If she's not, obviously she's not.
But she doesn't feel great about herself and wants to change that. That's understandable.
She's comparing herself to her former body before pregnancy. And, you know, she's not a celebrity, so she don't have like no fucking crazy fitness trainer that's gonna like get her, you know, get her body snatched, as they say these days.
Snapback's so, like, a myth. It doesn't happen overnight.
No, it takes months, years. Yeah, you know what I mean? And probably, I would say years if you're like not working with like a personal trainer who's like, you know, telling you what to eat and things of that nature. You know, Beyonce got to snap back because she's a fucking billionaire. Yeah. And so she has,
and that's all she had to do.
Yeah, literally.
That was her job. And I think that's something like people are kind of understanding that now more, and it's being better understood. Like, celebrities, for better or worse, their job is their body in many ways. And so
their job is how hot they are. And if they're not looking hot, then they're going to lose their job. So like when that's all, like, it's like The Rock. He literally get paid to work out and be a buff dude. If he stops being a buff dude, he doesn't have a job anymore. So you know, 90% of probably what he does during the day is like eating protein and fucking lifting weights.
What do you got? So she's at the bookstore. She's going to buy a diet book. And then she's talked out of it by the cashier, who is stand-up comedian Judy Gold, who I used to see on like Comedy Central when I was younger and everything. Super funny. Love a stand-up comedian cameo when we get him.
Never hated. She's in New York stand-up too, right? Like was big in New York, right?
For sure. And she says, well, don't buy these diet books, try Weight Watchers instead.
I actually agree with that because
I do too. Yeah, and like I've done Weight Watchers, and we'll get into that in a second.
Okay, before we get into that, because I was small comment real quick. No, I do think a actual program is way better because like you're talking to somebody, you're interacting with people. You have, you know, you may make a friend in that can keep you on your shit. You know what I mean? A book is just you're leaving too much for yourself. And here's the thing: if you're having trouble with your weight, you probably don't have that much self-control. So trying to leave it up to just you is just you're setting yourself up for potential failure. Because even the lady even said the cashier even said, she was like, yeah, I did this book, lost 24 pounds, gained 45.
Which is it was very common with almost any diet. Like especially a restrictive one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The more restrictive it is, the more a bounce back you're gonna have from it.
So yes, I have done Weight Watchers twice. I had some success on it. I mostly would have to quit due to time and money constraints, to be totally honest, because it is a paid program. It's not free or anything.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, you pay a membership. Yeah.
Like, is it expensive membership?
It was like, no, but it was like $40-$50 a month. And at the times I was trying to do it, I didn't really have that kind of money to like, things would come up.
It's more expensive than the gym.
I think there's different levels now too. I think like there's cheaper like online only versions and things like that, but it definitely adds up. You know, there's a lot of pros and cons to it. You know, it is a good concept in theory. And they've changed the name even WW because I think they used to be a little more, you know, not shamey, but like, you know, a little shamey.
A little judgy.
A little judgy.
A little judgy, yeah.
Which is the theme of this episode. We'll get into all that. But they and so they had the point system. Now I think one of the bigger issues for me, I won't lie, is it tends to be older women. And again, both times I was doing it, I was in my 20s. And so it was very hard to relate to the other people. I did like the group kind of discussion aspect of it. And like hearing tips and things, or, you know, talking, kind of doing not therapy, but, you know, kind of talking it out and being like, oh yeah, I struggle with this or that. And you're not alone and all that. And that's good. But part of the problem is because it's led by like people who succeeded, and it tended to be older women. This one stuck out to me. So they're like, if you had, you know, an extra hour in a day to do something you want to do, what would it be? And I said, watch TV, because I like TV. It's kind of what I do for a living, you know, or watching a movie or whatever. And they were kind of like, okay, but like, could you be doing something else while you're watching the TV? Like maybe you do like a treadmill walk while you watch an episode, and yes, I could. But the question was, what would I do with a magic free hour of TV.
Right. Yeah.
You know, or a magic free hour in the day.
Yeah.
That was the question. Not how I would utilize it effectively.
Right.
It was supposed to be what did I want to do for fun.
Right. Yeah.
And I like TV and that's fun for me.
Yeah.
So I had to like talk it out and explain it and agree to that as for them to be like okay with that answer. And that just I was like, this is the judgmental older middle-aged ladies.
I was gonna ask you
on my dick.
You were because you said you were in your 20s, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think low key you kind of pissed off some of the older women, like, look at this bitch in her 20s. What the fuck is she doing here? She can lose weight like that.
Well, no, not necessarily, but also, you know, it's different. You know, a lot of them are like moms or working moms, sometimes grandmas even, you know, and
again, that's what I'm saying. Like you, like you're like a single girl. She's like, she's single. She don't got no kids. Like, what the fuck is she doing here? She can work
right, out. Like, you know. But all the other answers were things like, you know, gardening or this or that and the other thing. And I was like, I don't own a garden. I'm never going to fucking own a garden here in California, guys. Like the economy's fucked, you know, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you got a garden in here. You got lucky.
Yeah. So that I think made it hard. Like that was and also Miranda meets a guy at this meeting. Fucking no dudes.
Really?
These things. No, it is all women. I'm sorry.
I can see that. Yeah,
I know they've like, I know they've hired like James Corden and DJ Khaled as like spokesmen in the past. I think maybe try to get guys into it.
They've had others too, other men,
other dudes here and there, but it's very much a women focused thing.
The logo used to be like kind of like a curvy woman, like an artsy style curvy woman on, and so like it never really was like advertised towards men.
Yeah,
really.
And like their system is not, you know, again the problem too that they're saying, I keep reading now, is like, so they have the point system and like the, you know, good bad foods, and the whole idea the more like research is being done is like you really shouldn't put things in like good bad, like you know, it should all be moderation. It's hard for some people and I'm definitely in that category. But I am trying to make different changes here and there, you know, but like so much of this, which is why Miranda feels like shit, is like, was just like, you are a failure and you're bad and hideous if you are overweight. And I don't know how tall she is. We'll say like she's 5'9" or whatever. She weighs in at the Weight Watchers meeting at like 152.
That's not bad.
That's not even that bad. Like, what did she fucking weigh before, man? Like, I don't even know. I can't. I was like 152. I was like,
yes. I mean, like she was weighing like, I guess if she was weighing like 120 or something like that,
130 maybe 125.
I would say 125 because she's tall, but she was pretty. She was before the
and that's the thing. Like I got a goal weight from them, and I talked to a trainer around this time I was doing this, and they were like, well, what are your kind of goal weight? And I was like, well, this is the goal weight. And they looked at it and they're like, okay, yeah, you could get down to that if you know, with work and everything. They're like that, but you would also look skeletal, and you would look they're like, because you are not built that narrow, and because you have to take into consideration your actual physical, like, big bone is not an excuse for being like, you know, overweight, but
there's a structure.
There's like a structure. If I suddenly drop like a massive amount of weight, I'm gonna look like I'm dying. Versus just like you know, because like that's not fat, that's my shoulder bone. Like same thing if you do hips, you hit hip bone at a wider point than you would expect maybe, but like whatever. So
no, that's absolutely no. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, like that's you can't like you can't set the same number for every person because that's height and bone structure. Like yes, big bone is not a thing, but bone structure is a thing. And certain weights don't look good on certain bone structures, or it also is not healthy for certain bone structures.
Yeah, you know like I could get down to like real thin if I like really like busted my ass, but I would also
die.
Look terrible.
You could also die. So
and I could die. It's not healthy to do. So that's, you know, and I wouldn't say like my experiences were fine. You know, I kind of struggled to stick with it, but that's more on me than the program in some ways.
Okay.
It is a little culty, as many of these things are, like whatever, but I mean, I still have recipes I use from it and stuff like that. I just don't get into the points thing. I tried it.
I was going to ask you if you could just briefly explain the whole point system, if it's not too complicated.
The points thing is they calculate the point. You get an X number of points in a day based on what your goal is, like how much weight you're trying to lose or whatever. So let's say you get like 25 points in a day. So then they're all foods have different point values, and it's based on like carbs, fat, and protein is how they calculate it. They give you a calculator, so if you're like having a sandwich and from like a restaurant or whatever, you can, and it gives you the nutrition information, you can punch that in. But like most vegetables and fruit are like 0 points, so you can go buck wild eating carrots all day if you want.
Who the fuck wants to do that though?
You'll turn orange if you do. If you're white, you'll turn orange.
I mean, just like in vegetables, I eat vegetables, but it's like, who wants to go buck wild on vegetables?
But in theory, if like you're hungry and you're out of points because you had other stuff, you should use a 0 point thing, which will give you like fiber. Celery. Oh, sorry, fiber is probably the other calculator thing. Carbs and fiber, protein and fat or content or whatever.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you calculate that, and then as you lose weight, you get less points, I think, because you'll need less points. Right. And then you also can make up for stuff. I hate the idea of making it up, but yeah, burn it off, whatever. You get activity points. So like walking, swimming, all those kind of things.
Gotcha.
So yeah, your goal is to try to not go over your points. You get like bonus points in a week. So yeah, you get like a cheat day or whatever, or a special occasion.
Okay.
But part of also what turned me off it too was like, one of the things they had, like the like weekly booklet they gave you, was like someone who was like, I was on my honeymoon and I found a meeting and my husband and I went and we still like did all this jogging. And I was like, you're on your honeymoon, man. Yeah, I think you can pause Weight Watchers for 2 weeks while you're on your fucking honeymoon.
Yeah, I mean, you almost kind of have to. That's the only way you're gonna enjoy your honeymoon.
But no, they found a meeting in Hawaii, Chris, on their honeymoon, so they were able to go.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
I was like, I'm all for getting in shape, getting healthy. I'm trying to do it now, with baby steps and all this, that, and the other thing. But like and being as obsessed with it as going on your honeymoon and still going to a Weight Watchers meeting, and feeling like you need to work out on the honeymoon is bad too. It's not great being overweight,
like
but
it's one thing to
obsessed with it is not great either. Like middle ground.
That's that's wild. But I mean, and that's I see now where you're saying like that's where the cultish of it comes from. Yeah, because we were like that obsessed with like meeting the goal or whatever. So,
I also think we had like a cool, one of the ones I went to, we had like a cool leader lady that I liked. She was like really chill, and she was also about like, here's how you can like kind of massage the point system a little in your favor, because it was like Thanksgiving and everybody was like, oh my god, what do I do about Thanksgiving? I was like, you fucking chill for a day, it's Thanksgiving, man. Like that's not going to be the one that sends the train off the track, right? Like it's if you do Thanksgiving every day, right? Like that's how you should
3 days,
or for the next 3 days, that's how you should kind of look at it. Like think of it that, and that's kind of what she was doing. And she's like, here's how you can kind of like fudge your point count and use extra points and give yourself like a huge amount like the day of. And I was like, sick. I like it. I like her thinking. I like her, creative accounting of this. And then not long after that, she was gone, which I think she had health issues, but I'm also like, did they give her the fucking boot as like a team leader because she was, not towing the line that hard? Because the new lady we got was very like, hi, oh, you want to watch TV on your free hour? I don't know. Okay. She was nice, but that kind of, nice.
Yeah.
There's a reason I'm putting extra syllables in nice, So I was like, I think they asked the cool lady for being like, you can manipulate the point system in your favor.
Yeah.
Because
because like if you think about it, like as a company, they kind of have an image to uphold. So if there's anybody that's like lacking in there, then or like allowing people to lack, then it's like they, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what happened to me. I was I got hired to be like, they said it was an acting job, but basically for hydroxy cut, they wanted me to be like a model for that shit like that.
Yeah.
If you don't read certain requirements through like, so every week that you have to have lost a certain amount of weight, and if you don't meet that requirement, they first ask you like what's going on, and then they give you like another week to make up for it. If you're not at that goal within 2 weeks, they just drop you from the whole program.
Yeah,
you get to keep all the products, but like
you're not gonna
get paid or anything like that.
Yeah. So that's like the long. Well, I was gonna say and short, but it wasn't that short. But that's like the explanation of my experience with Weight Watchers. I'm all for if it helped people and made people feel good. Cool, it's harmless to me. Some people be like it's harmful. I'm like, but like sometimes it helps people. And there's success stories, but there's also flip side people who are like I lost all the weight doing it, but then they ended up gaining the weight back. Because the tracking and kind of obsessing over exactly how much and what you're eating is, again, like more recent studies have shown the kind of obsessive tracking is not a great approach. It is good to like keep track, obviously, of what you're eating and doing, but the kind of like fussy, like super measuring versus, as they call it, intuitive eating, where you like listen to what you need more. Now the problem of course is, I'm intuitively know I need this pizza. Like, no, you're not, that's not what you're supposed to do either.
Right.
But like knowing like, I'm hungry for sure. I'm gonna go make a snack, and then hopefully you're making like a healthier snack or whatever, eating vegetables or do whatever. But other things I've seen, I saw a good breakdown that was like, if you are craving like chocolate, let's say, but you're like, I can't have chocolate, it's not good for me, it's a bad food. So you eat something else instead, but you're still, if not hungry, you're still craving something. So then you eat something else instead. So you end up eating more trying to deny the craving than if you just give into the craving in a responsible way.
Right.
Like, let's say like, I'm craving like a mini Kit Kat that I have in my thing. I'm like, well, I can't have the Kit Kat, I need to do this. I had an apple. Okay, great, I had an apple, but I'm still craving something. Well, maybe I'll have yogurt instead. So now I've eaten like 2 or 3 things versus the one littler thing I would have
that would have been like 60 calories at best.
So that I think that's I found that interesting. I was like, okay, yeah. And obviously if you have a craving, you shouldn't go again bananas, like eating like a pound of Kit Kats. But if you're like,
I'm gonna go get a king size.
Like don't go king size, but be like, I want some chocolate. I had like a couple of pieces of some kind of chocolate or other, and then you're satisfied. You're like, sick. All right, cool, and then you're done. And so that's the thing I'm trying to recalibrate towards, so to speak, among other things.
Feel that.
Anywho, now that my weight loss seminar is over, Miranda meets a cute dude at the Weight Watchers, which, like as I said earlier, most unrealistic part of the episode.
So clearly this is where the
fiction.
This is the fiction comes in, because you say there's like mostly women in there, or only women in there.
In my experience, I think
and they probably again, like like you said before, it was Weight Watchers was a thing that was mostly targeted towards women.
Also, I've seen a million stories from people online, other places. Don't bring your fucking kids to it. Do not put your kid in the program. That's just gonna fuck up their whole, like, you might have your own fucked up relationship with food and eating, and that's on you. And if you think your kid is going down the same path, give them till they're 18 before you really get on their ass about stuff like that, because people are growing. You never know what's going on with the kid. The being like, oh my god, you're so fat, and you're like 10. People were talking about being in there at like 10, 9 years old. No.
Everybody's kind of chubby at that point.
Everyone's chubby at that age. Don't fucking do that. That's where you just fuck people up for life with food relationships. And anyway, whole other story. But anywho's,
I feel you.
Don't bring your kids to that shit.
Yeah, so she meets, what's his name?
Tom.
Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they end up hitting it off and going to after hours of talking about eating, they go to a restaurant, a diner of all choices.
Yeah,
it's probably not the best place to go if you're trying to watch your weight because diner food is not exactly.
Yeah, diner food is not great for you.
It can't be.
It is great, but it's not
great
great for you.
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's cheap. Always cheap. Every diner I've ever been to is like the food is not that expensive.
Like $10, and you have like, and you literally have like a pound, like 8 pounds of food somehow. And you're like,
it's insane. So it's like, how do they get away with that? Oh man.
So they do that, and they're talking, and we learned he had a fiance, because they're talking about the different bad crash diets, which I think luckily I think at this point we all know not to do crazy, like whatever
about, like the fucking what was goddamn, what's the fucking grapefruit and eggs. Woo!
Or Beyonce has actually talked about this. She did like, it's like water, lemon juice, maple syrup, and cayenne pepper, something like that.
Yeah, a friend of mine did that for like 3 days because so he get his headshots done. I was like, it's like a cleanse.
Cleanse my ass.
Not a cleanse. It's just you're not eating.
All the tummy teas or whatever the Kardashians are selling you, do not buy that shit. Mostly, as they've exposed, most of that stuff is just there to dehydrate you, which will make you look thinner. You will shit your brains out. And then you're dehydrated. And it's a whole mess.
As soon as you have a cup of water, you're gonna blow right the fuck back
boom. Up. I remember I heard what's his face, Henry Cavill, like didn't drink water for like a day before he had to do his like bathtub thing in The Witcher.
Yeah, he did that. Oh, actually, Hugh Jackman, your boy, did that first. For Wolverine, he went like a day, like 2 days without drinking water, and to be super ripped for the shirt off scene for like one of the last Wolverine movies.
And that's not even my favorite look on him. And I'm like, drink some water, my guy. Stop doing the steroids.
Well, they do that all the time. I mean, Hemsworth has done that. Like, so they can look, basically it's like they have the shirt off scene so they can look.
And to be totally fair to, like, I know I was talking about how much Weight Watchers is a woman thing, and like society and women and weight and all that. It's bad for guys too. It's like weirdly more socially acceptable to a certain point to be like a heavier dude or whatever. But I totally get why guys like are freaking out about, like, you know, the stuff you see on like Men's Health or whatever, where they're not drinking water for 2 days to get that cut. That's not good either. Don't do that. Don't do that either.
Well, I mean,
I'm begging everyone to be kinder to themselves. You have to take care of yourself. You will feel good if you work out and eat right. Yes.
Well, people don't even know that, like, when you're at that body weight and you're like that cut and that rip, that actually affects you in a lot of ways. Like, especially, hey guys, affects you sexually because you can't really get hard-ons, you can't really get aroused when you're at 5% body fat.
Also, they probably are on steroids.
Even with the steroids, you still can't get a bing bong because you're too low of body fat. You need fat in your body. You need fat in your body. Not excessive a lot, but you do need some.
You need some. So we learned they talking about the diets, and this Tom guy had a fiance who was apparently very critical of him, and that would drive him to overeat, which is a common thing that people do.
Oh yeah.
That one of the things we did talk about in the Weight Watchers that I thought was true is, like, unlike other addictions, you do need food to live at the end of the day. And that's like makes it one of the hardest ones to kind of deal with. You know, if you're doing other drugs or you're drinking or whatever, like, you don't need those things to live.
No.
You know, you will go through bad withdrawals and it's a bad experience. It's not good, but you don't need cigarettes or what have you. You do have to technically fuel your body though. And that's the crazy thing. So he talks about how that hurt him and it would drive him to overeat and everything. And then, you know, they talk about donuts and stuff, and they agree to split one because he's the one who he tips her off. He's like, the best Weight Watchers meeting is this one that's downtown, but it's right next to a Krispy Kreme. So, you know, it's terrible temptation. Fun fact, one of the ones I went to was right by a waffle restaurant.
Now, to me, that would be harder than Krispy Kreme because I personally think Krispy Kreme is trash.
Yeah, I think Krispy Kreme
trash. And like she was all because like Miranda says, she's like, oh, whoever invented the glaze is a genius. First of all, glaze ain't even the best donuts.
Not even close.
It's blueberry, okay? It's blueberry donuts.
Not for me. I like a chocolate like frosty, like icing cakey type one. That's my I think,
To be fair, the best donut, if you're talking like per capita, is the apple fritter, because it's just the hugest donut and it's for the same price as any other donut, and you just get like a mountain of donut for it. I'm just saying economically, it's the best. It tastes the best, but economically, if you want some donut,
you want some bang for your donut.
That's the best one, the fritter.
Yeah, I've never understood the hype around Krispy Kreme ever.
And that's why it was like, oh, you have had it when it's hot. I've had hot, cold, fucking medium, lukewarm, whatever the fuck. Like, they're not that good. Will I eat it? Yes, it's a donut. Of course I'm gonna eat it. Of course, like, if you put it in front of me and say, "Hey, here's a Krispy Kreme," I'm not gonna be like, "No," but like, I'm not. If I have a choice, I'm not gonna choose Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, so far, like honestly, truly, the best donuts are from like smaller places.
Yeah,
there's the one you told me about here in Burbank.
Yes, you went to Daddy's Donuts.
Daddy's Donuts. But hell yes,
Daddy.
Fire. Yes, Daddy. Your donuts are fucking amazing. They are really good.
They're really good.
And then, like, growing up, there was like a little bakery right near, like, or pretty close to my house, and that had like just amazing donuts. Chain shit ain't shit. Like, those are bad.
No, Krispy Kreme, you better off going to the grocery store and getting their glaze, because that's what it's gonna be about the same, if not better.
It is. It's so not good.
Yeah.
But they get all hyped on the donut and end up splitting it. Which is a healthy that they always recommend. Yes. They're always recommending, like, splitting things in half or taking a portion home. Which here's my thing with that. They were like, if one of the tips they often gave away Weight Watchers was like, oh, if you're going to a restaurant, eat beforehand and then you won't eat as much. I was like, okay, but I'm going to the restaurant to spend my good money. Why would I not?
You're just gonna go there and eat a salad and go home?
Yeah, I'm not doing that. That's dumb.
That's stupid.
That's like the eating disorder thing where it's like, well, you're gonna go to a nice dinner, but you're only gonna have a salad because you can't. You don't have enough points.
Oh my God, you know what I just remember? Remember when in the show when they all go to LA and was it?
Oh yeah,
Miranda. Was it Miranda?
Yeah,
was it Miranda?
He had the
writer friend.
Yeah. Where he would just chew the steak and spit it out.
That has to be the worst diet.
That's an eating disorder, man.
That has to be the worst diet. You're just gonna chew it, taste it, and then spit it out. What the fuck?
What? Gross.
And that place looked expensive too.
It did, yeah.
Oh my God. There's no way I'm just gonna chew steak and spit it out. I'm swallowing that thing. I'm sorry. Absolutely. If it goes in my mouth, I'm swallowing it. I'm sorry. Pause.
Well, speaking of mouths,
steak is, if I eat steak, I have to put that out there. I don't want our viewers to think your boy out here just putting anything in his mouth. No. All right.
Speaking of mouths, so they had the donut, and then he's like, well, we can use to get some activity points to burn this off. And you know how you get those activity points? You have sex, baby. That was never on the app, just FYI.
It should be. You burn a few calories burn having sex. You burn a few. It's not like a lot. You're not gonna burn like 1,000 calories, but like, but you burn something. Like 100 at least.
Yeah. They're having a good time doing it.
But they didn't even have sex though.
No, they didn't even have sex. He just goes down on her.
Yes.
And brings her to orgasm. Awesome.
Yes.
But then he comes up from downstairs
and kisses her.
Okay,
I got questions. Ooh, class. Ooh, teacher. Okay, because they discussed this in the show.
Yeah,
they discussed this in the show. Mm-hmm. All right, is it nasty to kiss you after oral sex?
I think so.
Okay,
I think the same. For a guy, I wouldn't want to. I've not heard. You can tell me if guys feel differently or don't care. But if I did the reverse for a guy and whatever, I mean, I know most it's more in your mouth than it is around your mouth. But
no. Well, I guess I kind of see where she was coming from in his case, because like
it was
a lot
all over the place.
Yeah. It was a lot. Like yeah. I kind of get that, because it's like it didn't even look appealing.
It was not sexy. It was not like, oh yeah, he's gone down on her. That's hot. It looked gross.
Yeah.
It was unattractive.
Yeah, especially too, because it's like also different. Like I can understand like kind of in the moment if like they were having sex and he was like up there, they were like kissing and like,
if it was a spontaneous thing, but like they made like direct eye contact, were conscious of what was happening. And also, I mean, I like same thing with like I don't and haven't like eaten ass again. I feel the same way, like basically anything downtown I don't want up on my mouth, you know, or I don't want you to bring it with your mouth either. Like,
yeah, I feel you. I feel that. No, because like the guys, I think the only time I guess we would have a problem is if like you swallow or like it's still in there and then you try to kiss me. It's like, hey, what you doing? You go spit that out or swallow it.
Something, yeah.
Do something like get rid of it. Yeah, get rid of it before you kiss me in my mouth.
Yeah.
But other than like if you just like went down there, like let's say it was just like a little a pre warm up to the sex. If a guy trips on you about that, then something wrong with him. Like it ain't that bad, bro. It's your own dick. It's not like she's doing somebody else's and then trying to kiss you. That's a fucking problem.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean I'm kind of on Miranda's side. And all the
I'm not on her side because
she's rude as fuck about it as always.
Well, no, not that part. That part's fine because like she should have just been honest instead of being like coy about it. But like no, the part that I have a problem with is like later at lunch she was like, "Oh, I'm insulted if a guy doesn't let me kiss him after I give him oral, but I don't like him kissing me after he goes down on me." It's like, what?
Yeah,
that ain't right.
It's all. So stupid.
Also, you're more insulted by him putting your own juices on you than like you giving your juices back to the man that you just took it from. What? It's the same thing. Literally. Weird. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So no, you're good. So but she's hesitant to talk to him about it because she's like, how do you criticize someone who, when they get criticized, immediately like feels driven to overeat? Which he should just be in therapy for, honestly, too, on top of like doing Weight Watchers. That's definitely like a thing.
It's not really, that's not criticizing. If you're just like, hey, I don't really like when I'm all over you and you kiss me. That's not a criticize. That's just like a, hey, I'm just letting you know I'm not into that.
Yeah.
Could you please, like, you know, wipe it down real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, because she wasn't asking him to like go in the bathroom and fucking
shower or something.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Just also, a little like, you know. Hell, he could even use like.
Not criticizing his performance because clearly the performance was great.
The performance was standing. Oh, because she orgasmed.
I'm the closest. Podcast is over. Podcast is over.
This podcast is over.
This podcast is over.
Stupid puns. I love it. So they do it again, and he does the same thing, and she stops him. She's like, "It's too much. It's gross." And then he does immediately take it so bad. He's like, "Are you calling me a big sloppy eater? Oh my god, I need chicken pot pies." Blah 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 blah. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like that.
Yeah, he went out. He went off. It was.
Here's the thing, like,
sir,
if it wasn't that, which is a pretty big deal or whatever, but like, I feel like she wouldn't have ever been able to be like, "Oh hey, could you not do that?" Like.
Yeah.
Let's say like he like blew his nose and missed the basket. She would be like, "Hey, can you not miss the basket with your tissue?" You've been like, "Well, I guess I just gotta go eat." Like that's insane. Like go to therapy.
I mean, obviously, that's what I'm saying. That's another thing I was also thinking. It's like, okay, essentially, at least the way the show was planning it up, this was like almost like rehab-esque, and so
yeah.
And they always tell people in rehab, you can't date anybody within the first year of rehab.
Right.
So if they were both just starting the program, this probably wasn't the best time for them to be like, doing anything together. So, yeah, and clearly for him, because your boy went off, he's just like, hey, can you not kiss me after you like eat my pussy? And he was like, oh, I'm disgusting. I'm a huge hog.
I'm horrible.
Yeah, like whoa, completely to the other side of the spectrum. Yeah.
So that's the end of them. Oh, but Miranda does decide to go to a different Weight Watchers meeting. She goes to the one downtown by the Krispy Kreme, but she's forever turned off of glazed donuts based on her experiences, which is gross. And yeah,
I'm bad at this show. I'm bad at this show. Like I know, like sometimes people get a little, I know, like, some things come out and stuff like that, but like they didn't have to have his face so glistening
they
after he came
they
up.
Really didn't.
It was too much.
Bless that actor for doing that, because
it was just a little bit too much. Like, I know that it happens, but like, fam, y'all didn't have to make it look.
Didn't have to highlight it.
You didn't have, like, I mean, because it was like from the bridge of the nose to the chin. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Was he just down there like rubbing his face?
Yes, go. A lot.
Take it easy.
Guess he was a big sloppy eater.
Bow, bow, bow.
On fire today.
Oh my god. Yeah, and let me tell you something. That made me not want to glaze donut either. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie to you.
Well, and as we've established, the glazed is not the top tier donut. It's not. It's mid.
Not.
It's mid, as the
kids
mid. Say.
It's mid. It might be low, honestly. It may not even be mid. It might be low.
Yeah, I don't like the fried.
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm like a cakey, like a denser donut, if you
will. Yeah.
Now I want,
and that's why
now I want donuts so fucking bad. Though.
I know. That's why I like the blueberry though, because the blueberry is thick. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like you can like taste it. It's thick. Yeah. You eat like 2 of those and you're a little full after that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Let's go get donuts later.
Let's do it. Let's roll.
So on to Carrie, Samantha. You think?
Yeah,
kind of together.
That's the same. Yeah, that really did the same story.
Yeah. So as we said, Carrie is getting a book cover done for her book. That she worked so hard on. That is just a collection of her articles.
Speaking of books fall into a lap, motherfucker. Yeah. There's a career. He's like, here's a career on a
Here's
platter.
A whole new career.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Best-selling author. Why the fuck not?
So we are back with her publishers, Molly Shannon and Amy Sedaris. Again, love seeing them. And they present her with like the mock-up of the book cover, and it's supposed to be like her naked on the street, like hailing a taxi with like the words like Sex and the City across her bits, and she's like, oh my god, I hate it.
Okay, I'm asking you as a woman, did you hate that advertising?
Not necessarily. It reminded me of like a Madonna cover, which maybe at this point was a little dated, because Madonna did like her whole book on like sex and everything, and but that's like, it was because it was a black and white thing, and I feel like Madonna's like erotic, or is erotica erotic, whatever the book she came out with in like the 90s that would like had to be sealed in sealed bags because it was so sexual, which I think probably now by today's standards is like super tame.
It'd be mid.
It's mid.
It'd be mid
at best.
At best.
What do you call it? So I just thought it was kind of that, and I feel like I'd seen a version of that book cover before. It's like not that unheard of. Mm-hmm. Carrie's approved though, as it turns out. She and she does. That's where we do get the explanation that she's like the cover's too much about sex. I write about relationships.
Yeah.
And so the publishers aren't super happy. They're a little worried about what's gonna happen with it.
And that confuses me because like they came to her for this book, so it's like you would think that they would know that sex is not like necessarily what she writes about. Like it's not like she's writing.
Yeah,
like erotica.
I guess they're coming at it from like a sex sells kind of thing. And...
Sure, but I mean, you also know that she doesn't really write about like it's not like her columns are erotica. It's about relationships and dating and shit, like and finding love and shit.
And the only thing I could think of about why they're so stressed is like I feel like this photo shoot happened really fast.
Yeah.
So they might have been like worried about the timeline of like, oh my god, she's scrapping the original idea we had.
Right.
We're gonna have to figure out something else, and that involves moving shoots, crews, all that kind of stuff. But that's a detail I don't think they even really wanted to actually concern themselves with in the show.
Right. Gotcha.
So they go to the bookstore, the magical bookstore, where everybody discovers something, and Carrie's looking for inspiration, and Samantha is the best friend in the world. She's like, well, I could talk to the publishers for you. We could talk about what you want on the cover. And Carrie's like, I can't really afford you. And she's like, not a problem. It's just going to be like lunch and some martinis. Queen shit. Like
just hooking up a friend. As she does.
Hooking up a friend who is so fucking rude to her this whole episode. Here's why. So at Samantha's office, she is complimenting the delivery guy on his package and even has him like open the package he delivered. I will say this guy looks like a porn actor.
He does. He does. I was like, is this the guy? Is he a porn guy?
He just looks like a porn guy. Sorry.
Maybe that was he was supposed to.
Yeah, I think he was meant to.
I'm looking it up right now. Keep talking.
So Samantha offers to help him with his package, aka give him a blowjob in her office. And as she's doing so, Carrie comes by to pick. Oh yeah, is he a porn actor?
No. Just quick thing. I just wanted to say, like, I don't like the idea that like they're like going right back to like the original Samantha trope of her just be like,
oh yeah, post Richard like, breakup.
Yeah, like you would think
they try to justify it at the end, which we'll get to.
Okay,
I think they tried to justify it.
Oh, I didn't catch it. So please, when we get there, tell me what you mean.
So as she's giving the delivery guy a blowjob, Carrie walks in and like leaves in a panic, is like crashing into everything, and it's like
she hit that wall so hard. I was like, I think that Sarah Jessica Parker got hurt for real.
Yeah.
Like, she hit that way too hard. Oh shit.
So then later Carrie and Stanford, hey Stanford, we haven't seen Stanford in a while. This is nice. I love the Stanford appearance. They're looking at fashion magazines for like inspiration. And Stanford's super happy. He's got a boyfriend who's a dancer at Radio City Music Hall. And Carrie, he's like, you can't be judgmental. And I was like, why would Carrie make fun of him dating a dancer? Like,
because she's just a miserable bitch. She's just a miserable bitch. So like anybody else who's happy is just like, you know, it hurts her feelings. He's just an actor. This guy, apparently he did like 126 episodes of The Young and the Restless.
Oh, okay.
So he's just an actor. I guess he just has a face that.
He's got a face for porn, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And Samantha calls Carrie and was like, "That was pretty funny. You walking me in on me doing the blowjob." And Carrie's like, "Huh, yeah." And she's like really weird about it, and Samantha's like, well, I got a stylist to pull some looks for the cover for you. And Carrie's like, well, are you pulling the right stuff?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, bitch, I'm doing this shit for free, basically, and you're questioning my methods. Knowing how good Samantha is at being a publicist. Like, you've known her for years. Look who she just got through working for, like one of the richest men in that fucking city, and you're questioning her methods.
Yeah,
bitch, because you saw her give a blowjob.
Yeah, whoop-de fucking do.
All right, take it easy.
So then later, Carrie is pondering: are we too quick to judge? Maybe it's an early warning thing, and should you judge a book by its cover?
But that's the thing is like, because like, you know, we do talk about this even today in this day and age, but like, almost impossible for us as human beings not to judge people. Like that's literally like our ape mind is how we categorize things so we can understand them more is by judging them. Now, can we be nicer about it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, because, you know, Carrie was saying that, you know, people are mean, and she's not wrong because like, this was
Carrie is, to be clear, very worried about how she's going to look on the cover of this book, as you would.
Not wrong. I mean, literally, you know, her friends were like, judge, like, look, I mean, Samantha was right there reading a magazine, like, who the fuck put this on this book? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, yes, she's not wrong when it comes to like the public image. People are gonna be fucking brutal about it. So she's not wrong there, but like to ask people not to judge, it's like basically asking me not to breathe. Cause like that's how like that's why we have eyeballs to judge shit. That's how we judge danger. That's how we survive and shit like that. You know what I mean?
And they always tell you to trust your judgment about stuff, and I think that's very true. You know,
it doesn't mean that you can't change a judgment or you can't, you know, see things in a different way, but like that's literally like our instinct as human beings, like, see what we see with our eyes and judge it.
Yeah,
for assessment.
So they're having brunch though the next day, and that's when Miranda's explaining the thing with the with Tom from Weight Watchers. And she's like, Samantha, after you do like a blowjob, do you kiss the guy? And Carrie goes, no, she just signs the delivery slip and sends him on his way. And then, like, what a jab out of nowhere.
It was out of nowhere.
No reason.
Solid joke, but yes, it was out of nowhere.
Solid joke.
Solid joke though.
And Samantha's really hurt by it though. Yeah. Like, and they you know, explain the situation to
well, it was I think
girls.
too, well, I also think it was like a little bit shady because it was like, all right, obviously that was a thing between you and me, Carrie. Like, why the fuck you got to tell the rest of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because that's, and here's the thing.
That's a good point.
Maybe Samantha wouldn't have felt like Carrie was judging her if she didn't do it like that, like putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause she was basically trying to say, like, look at this slut over here, sucking off mailmen. You know, like, you know.
That's such a good point. Yeah, it was a thing between the two of them. It could have stayed that way.
Yeah, it should have.
And it probably should have.
Yeah.
But Carrie put her on blast with the joke, and then they have to explain what happened. And then that makes, uptight Charlotte and Miranda kind of laugh about Samantha, and everybody just gangs up on her at this brunch for no fucking reason.
Yeah. Solid jokes though around the table. solid material. Jokes.
Yeah. Carrie's jokes are funny, but they are mean.
Yes. Clearly, that's like a. And I don't know because like I was like a guy definitely wrote these jokes because like I don't think women are that mean to each other to like go for the jugular about that shit. You know, we might judge, but like not with a joke. Usually it's just like straight up, hey, you're a fucking bitch. Like it's more direct and like subtle jokes.
Yeah.
Unless it's you, then that's different. I know you can come with it. I know you can with it. You've seen it on the show.
So Carrie and Samantha go to the fitting, and Samantha's presenting her with some options. She doesn't love them. She goes to try something on. Stanford comes with his boyfriend, and the outfit Carrie has on is very Fredericks of Hollywood. It is very not Carrie, I have to say. It is, which I think they do just for the point of the episode. I think Samantha knows Carrie a little better than this.
Yeah. She was doing it to be mean. Yeah, she was definitely trying to jab Carrie a little
bit. Maybe even subconsciously. But it is very like boudoir. It's like a teddy with like fluffy boobs and like the robe and everything. And
it's very like 60s, 70s.
Yeah. It's kind of like a retro lingerie. Sexy thing. Yeah. Retro lingerie. Didn't
like the fembots and fucking
she looks like a fembot. It's exactly
Powers.
What she looks like.
Yeah, it's like Austin Powers. They were wearing that.
So Stanford, is like, look, I don't think she looks cute, but it's not really right for the cover. And even Marcus is like, it's not very modern, which is good to pick up on that. And he's not wrong. And she's clearly uncomfortable in it. She's not going to photograph well in it because she's like, don't do it. So the boys leave, and Carrie and Samantha kind of talk it out about like having different ideas of what's sexy, and Samantha calls her out. She's like, you've worn less at cocktail hour, I've seen you do it. And Carrie's like, yeah, but not lately. It's time for ladies our age to kind of cover up a little more. We can't get away with the same things, which is...
I was going to ask how you felt about that statement, because some women are with that statement from what I've talked, talking to other women, and some people are like, yeah, no, it doesn't matter, like whatever age, if you still got it, flaunt it.
I think it depends how you flaunt it. I think like Samantha is always very sexy, but it is like a mature, chic, like sexy approach to everything. Even if it's a lower cut thing or a higher slit, it's balanced in a way to be very, very sexily dressed, and you're like, God, she looks fucking hot.
Yeah, it's not like overtly slutty.
Versus just like hot pants tube top. That's right. And I think that's the distinction. Like, and obviously anyone can wear anything they want, and if they're happy, you're happy, and everybody should like get off each other's dick about it. But at the same time, I think there can be,
Every time you say that, I'm just like, that came out of a woman's lips. She said, get out every single time.
But and you could argue like society's too judgmental and things like that. But look,
at a certain age, some sort of modesty should play a factor, right?
Not even modesty, just different styling, just different approach to it. Like, this is not, Carrie. This is not Carrie's like look or vibe or anything like that. And so she's gonna look sluttier because it is like, she's uncomfortable. It doesn't fit who she is. I feel like Samantha would carry the outfit off more because she feels better in it. I think that's part of it too. Like,
Yeah.
You know, it's a tricky thing. I hate the like, oh, women should cover up at a certain age.
No, 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 no.
But like I said, I think it's a matter of how you style yourself to still be sexy, you know. But you can't be sexy the same way at 40, 50, 60 that you can at 20 and 30. I think that's just something.
So just like class it up a little bit.
Yeah, just adjust, you know.
Yeah.
But people do get caught in like, you know, oh, I looked great when I was 20 or 30 and I want to recreate that. Well, you're not 20 or 30 anymore. You're not gonna have the same results.
Yeah, it's just
you know.
Yeah. Like I mean, listen, I'm all for everybody wearing what they want to wear, but I don't want to see a 75-year-old woman in Daisy Dukes. I'm just saying, I just don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it. Like I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
It's not the most
attractive
look.
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
So
again, I do want to see it. I've never seen it before. So.
Yeah. But like Samantha's like, this is still about the blowjob and you judging me, and Carrie tries to make another joke, and Samantha's like, well, if I walked on you giving a blowjob to a delivery guy, and Carrie goes, well, that's something I would never do, and she says it really smugly.
Yeah.
And Samantha's like, that's the point. There it is right there.
Yeah, that's where the judge. Yeah, because she kept trying to defend herself, saying that she wasn't being judgy, but that statement, the way she said it, for sure was judgment. Yeah.
And Samantha's not wrong, and she even says, she's like, and after everything we've been through.
Woo! I thought she was about to go in on her. She didn't go in. But
Samantha's too classy to do that.
I know, but
that's why she's the best.
I thought she was about to give it to this bitch one time. She needs it. I thought she was going. She's like, bitch, I've been your best friend through all your bullshit. You want to come at me right now?
Mm-hmm. And she says, she's like, I will wear whatever I want and blow whoever I want until I die, and you can't fucking stop me. And walks out, and I'm like, hell yeah, right on, sister. Do what you want. But then she goes in the bathroom and she walks in on Stanford getting a blowjob from his boyfriend.
Yep.
Which is something that finally shocks her.
Yeah. Did you feel any judgment coming out of Samantha on that one, or just shock?
Just shock. I just think she wasn't ready to not to see that, because like I'm sure she's seen that before. But I think it's just the like surprise of like anything like that when you're not expecting that.
Right.
It's just a surprise.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh.
To be fair, they mentioned it later or towards the end of the episode, but I was shocked too, because honestly, I don't see Stanford getting a blowjob. I see him more giving the blowjob. So like, So when they said that, I was like, thank you. Someone knows my thoughts. I was like, wait, Stanford's getting the blowjob? Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was great. I mean, great writing, because I think 90% of people who probably watch the show didn't expect to see that happening as well.
Yeah. You know? So it's been a couple days, and Carrie goes back to Samantha's office and makes a big production of knocking on the door, which is, Samantha's still kind of hurt, and frankly the knock thing is like not like helping Carrie's cause to like smooth things over at all.
No. To be fair, Carrie should have did that in the first place. She probably wouldn't have walked in on the blowjob. Just saying, like, rude. You just walked in her shit without even knocking. Like, how you enter people's apartments? Like, fuck.
Yeah, just barging into places.
Yeah.
So Carrie tries to say, I'm sorry, and Samantha's like, well, I don't want to do that. Like, we were perfect. And Carrie's like, whoa, we weren't perfect. But then she says, she's like, I admire you the way you put your sex life out there. And then as they kind of move on from that, Carrie admits, she's like, I judged you for what you did, and I feel bad. And she's like, and you were so good to, and Carrie says what Samantha implied in the previous conversation. She's like, you were so good to me during the affair and all that stuff. And you know, and she truly was. And Samantha's like, well, you know, I feel like I'm judging myself post Richard. I don't know who I am anymore. And I think that's how they justify her. That's what I was talking about earlier, where I think this line is meant to justify her giving like the delivery guy a blowjob, and going back to, as you said, like the earlier seasons Samantha, where like everything was just sex all the time. Because I think in a way is probably confused herself, because she obviously had a lot of sex with Richard, but it was only with the one guy. She was in a relationship, and she's doesn't normally do that.
Right.
But she maybe like emotionally can't go back to where she was before either. Like she has had a relationship. She liked having a relationship.
Yeah, maybe just like kind of an overcorrection to kind of get over the relationship she just had with Richard, which that makes sense. Yeah, because I was just like, they just threw her right back in real too quickly. I mean, hell, Charlotte ain't even really slept with nobody else since she married. Like, which I mean, that's
did flash that boob to the sailor though.
Barely flashed it. Barely.
Well, quick shot. So they do settle on a look for the cover, which is like a kind of just a jacket thing with like legs, and she looks great.
Yeah,
Carrie does look great. I have to say, I like this shorter bob haircut on Sarah Jessica Parker. I think it looks cuter.
It's nice.
Then like she's so married to the long hair though. She's back with it. Like she has it in the new in the reboot and everything else. I just think she looks.
Oh my god! Don't even bring that up. That's one of my favorite. Hocus Pocus is one of my favorite.
Oh, I wasn't talking about Hocus Pocus.
Oh,
I was talking about and Just Like That.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, like, don't even talk about that. I'm not looking forward to it at all.
I will watch it.
I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not looking forward to it because, like, it was a perfect movie. It was fine the way it was. You don't need to have a reboot. There's no reason for it.
It's a sequel. It's not a reboot.
It don't. Okay, fine. Don't need a sequel. The way the movie ended, what part of that movie ending did it say?
Well, what part of them dying forever if they don't drink the souls of the children or whatever didn't we understand?
Well, because the book opened its eye at the end.
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna go off.
It's just an evil book.
Evil book.
It could go to anybody else.
Yes, that's only all the point of it was like that. The evil can still live in that book if somebody reads it, but like it had nothing to do with the Sanderson sisters coming back to life somehow. And I know that this fucking sequel is gonna be trash.
Yeah, probably.
It's gonna be trash. I love Bette Midler.
Yeah,
she's great.
I love everybody in it.
I love them all. Like
what's his face?
Great.
Kathy, Jimmy, Bette Midler, Sam Richardson, who I adore, and his everything. He's so funny. He's in it.
Love it, but
love it.
We don't need it. We didn't need it.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what they could have done? You know what y'all could have done instead of making a sequel? Just brought back Hocus Pocus into theaters again. I'll go see it.
I went to the El Capitan a few years ago to see
it. Me too.
Oh my god, it was great.
The best, dude. The fucking the performers come out and sing the songs and shit.
That didn't happen. No, we didn't have that, which was a bummer. No, but it was just great seeing it with a crowd and shit, and and the El Capitan was all done up. Sorry for non-LA locals. The El Capitan is the Disney-owned theater in Hollywood, where they play only Disney stuff. And they do decorate it up for Halloween and everything, and they play like Nightmare Before Christmas and all those things. But yeah, they had it all done for Halloween. They had the costumes in the basement of the building, so we went and saw those.
Oh, dude, you didn't even get to see it at the cool shit. When I went, it was Halloween and as well, and they had like 3 singers come out dressed as the Sanderson sisters.
No,
and they came out and did the I put a spell on you. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I think my crowd did start to sing along, or we wanted so I went with my mom and 2 other friends, and like we definitely like wanted to sing along, but like nobody else was doing it. We ran into the same problem. Separately, that one friend and I went and saw A League of Their Own, and no one sang along with the little song, the batter up here that call. We were like, where it was one of those outdoor like street food cinema things. We're like, what is everybody doing? What are you doing?
Sometimes you got to be the one to start it. It takes one person to start singing out loud, and then everybody else joins in.
Yeah, same. I know, and funnily enough, same thing. I went and saw Pulp Fiction at one of those, and the crowd was weirdly like quiet for most of it. I think it was maybe like everyone's like, do we all do the Ezekiel thing together or no?
Yeah, of course. You always do.
Every
time I watch that movie, I start reciting that with them.
Does somebody get up and do the little dance? What do we do? Nobody knew the vibe.
If it's outside, maybe, but not in
this was an outdoor thing. Yeah,
if it's an outdoor thing,
nobody knew the vibe though.
You're definitely supposed to be twisted.
Point to boil it down to. But anyway, congratulations to Carrie on her book cover.
Yeah. She did look good in that. I did like that outfit that they ultimately went with. That was nice.
Yeah, it's chic, it's sexy. That's what I'm talking about, is like that was a very sexy outfit while being like mature and chic.
Yeah.
And it's the balance of like kind of picking one sexy thing to emphasize. They even tell that, honestly, fashion wise, to even like 20 and 30-year-olds, you can't put everything on display. Part of what makes something so sexy is like some mystery. So if you're doing cleavage, you're more covered elsewhere. So it's like, oh my god, those are titties, but what else does she have?
that's honestly to
so
guy, and a lot of people don't understand that, but like to guys, if you are dressing to attract guys, that's sexier when it's more to the imagination than to be just displayed. Like, because we want to be, because like it's also too.
You want to discover some shit.
Yeah, like when we actually, if we get lucky enough to see it, we want to like see it for the first time, not see it walking around.
Yeah,
you know. So yeah, it's great.
So I hope everybody enjoyed our fashion tips, my lengthy explanation of Weight Watchers and its overall concept.
Hey, they needed to hear it. They need to know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
the people need to know.
You might have saved somebody's life. You don't even know.
So you can find us the show on Instagram at Show Me What Podcast, and that'll take you to all our other portals on the internet. And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Elizabeth Movies. Chris, where can they find you?
You can find me on all social medias at Christopher T. Mack, as you can see on the screen, Christopher T. Mack on all social medias.
And you can, of course, as always, get the Arlo Australia candle discount. Promo code Show Me Miss.
Yeah.
Save some money. It is, as we've said, and we went on the Hocus Pocus tangent, but it's true. It's candle season, bitches.
Hey, baby. Hey,
enjoy.
Bring them witches back with Arlo Australia candles, baby. Let's go.
They are not black flame candles. However, they do smell great. They do smell.
Although
probably for the best.
Yes, I might have to send her a message saying, "Hey, it's Halloween. Maybe some black flame candles. Maybe some Halloween themes." She might have some up already. You know, I haven't seen the site in a while, so she might.
Although, if you're watching or listening to this podcast, I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume you're not a virgin, so you probably won't be bringing anything back.
That's true. Just the smells. Just lovely
some
smells.
Amazing smells.
That's all you're bringing back, and just some lovely smells. Yes.
See you later, you little sluts. Love you.
Yes. Like, comment, subscribe, bitches.
We're good.